Let's rank every hero equipment from the worst to the best, covering which equipment each hero should use and which ones you can safely ignore. Starting with the newest hero, the Dragon Duke, we have his Flame Blower in the B tier. Despite its long range and relatively high damage, it does lack a few things that make it a strong option. However, it's still a solid choice to run, especially for Town Hall 15 players, as it does also offer a lot of HP and HP regen. In the A tier is none other than his Stun Blaster. This equipment is very powerful, especially when used around key defenses with its long range and stun duration. It only makes sense to use this equipment while either funneling troops in a smash attack or clearing back-end defenses in dragon armies, as the stun provides immense versatility, especially with his passive ability. And in the S tier is his Fireheart. This offers so much value no matter where he is on the base. With its high self-healing and HP increase, it makes the Dragon Duke much stronger and allows him much more survivability. It additionally gives the Duke damage on death in a fairly large area, allowing you to clear some defenses or clear CC troops with just the Death Blast itself. So here's how the Dragon Duke's equipment rank from worst to best, but you can also use my creator code to support me and the channel. Moving over to the Barbarian King, we have his Vamp Stash and Barbarian Puppets in the F tier. Both equipment aren't really strong options nowadays, with better and more flexible equipment he has now. Over in the C tier, we have his Rage Vial. While not a bad equipment, it has seen far less usage than in the past. This more so has to do with how locked it is to the Giant Gauntlet, as it provides it with a hefty DPS increase in addition to a movement speed increase, which pairs extremely well with the Giant Gauntlet, offering unlimited potential. But it didn't age well, and as a result, it's very niche depending on the needs of the army and your own town hall level. Up in the B tier, we see the Earthquake Boots. While they're slowly falling down the ranking, they aren't bad at all. This is evident by many smash attacks and hero dives wanting the Earthquake Boots for its wall breaking and damage percent on buildings around the king. This pairs exceptionally well with the Spiky Ball, as the damage percent pairs very well with the Spiky Ball's damage. Within the A tier, we have the Snake Bracelet and the Giant Gauntlet. Both of these equipment offer tanking in different ways. The Snake Bracelet's high HP boost gives the king much more options in funneling with the snake spawns, and when paired with the Spiky Ball, it gives the king a ridiculously high amount of HP to stay in the fight while clearing buildings on the outside the base. The Giant Gauntlet, however, is seeing increased use post buff, giving it more duration and its old damage reduction back, allowing it to tank more damage than before, and pairs extremely well with his Stick Horse equipment. And for the S tier, we have his Spiky Ball and Stick Horse. Both of these equipment bolster the power of the king in very different ways and are great for most situations. The Spiky Ball offers high projectile damage, which pairs very well with the Earthquake Boots or Snake Bracelet, while also buffing his HP and DPS, which makes him a solid option inside and outside the base in funneling or damaging buildings in the core of the base. However, the Stick Horse is just as strong, with it allowing the king to ignore walls while increasing his movement speed and attack speed, which makes this pair perfectly with the Giant Gauntlet and its damage reduction, which is especially true in funneling your troops into the base or being used on the back end to clear defenses. Not to mention its really high DPS increase and HP increase. But here's how the Barbarian King's equipment rank from worst to best. Up next is the Grand Warden, where we have his Lava Loon puppet in the C tier. While its buff in January did not give it enough of a buff to be super meaningful, having 3 Lava Loons is pretty strong to have in very specific armies, namely Lalo armies. Rainmaker is a perfect example of this, as he specializes in Lava Loon based attacks, where the Lava Loon puppet post buff offers greater value in tanking than that of the Eternal Tome, giving it a niche that most won't be able to try. I also have his channel in the description if you are interested in seeing his Lava Loon based armies. Moving up to the B tier, we have his Life Gem. Its buff back in January gave it a massive boost for a wider array of troops, allowing it to give more HP and thus create better survivability for many troops. This is mainly great for things like Super Hog Riders, Balloons, and Throwers, as they all have fairly low HP and benefit from the additional survivability. Within the A tier, we have the Eternal Tome, Fireball, Healing Tome, and Heroic Torch. Each of these equipment are fairly strong in a lot of of different strategies ranging from air spam to ground smash attacks. The Eternal Tome and Healing Tome can work together, especially with air spam armies like Electro Dragons or Dragon Riders, but can also work separated in cases where you are using the Rage Gem to provide greater support with the healers. The Fireball is a great tool as well for clearing compartments to set up a funnel in smash attacks or to clear the core of the base in Warden charge armies. The Heroic Torch, on the other hand, provides support for ground smash armies, allowing them to bypass walls and move faster, giving it more use cases and can work in similar armies to the Fireball without needing to worry about aiming something. And up in the S tier, we have the Rage Gem. This is easily the Warden's best equipment for most situations, namely ground armies. This is to take advantage of the healer's healing output for both troops and heroes, increasing it further and providing a bigger buff so long as he or the healers are alive. This also gives heroes and troops additional DPS, making it a stronger option within smash attacks like Super Witches or for the Warden and healers themselves in Warden charge armies. So here's how the Grand Warden's equipment rank from worst to best. Moving over to the Minion Prince, we start with his Henchman Puppets and Dark Crown in the C tier. Both of these equipment aren't bad at all and are very solid if used in specific situations or strategies. The Henchman Puppets is by far the best example of a good equipment that is still worth using if you lack epic equipment and is overall good enough in plenty of armies. However, the Dark Crown thrives in attacks that have troops naturally fall, like in Dragon or Lavaloon armies. That said, both aren't as strong or flexible as the other equipment the Prince has and have thus fallen to the wayside. For the B tier, we have the Noble Iron and Metal Pants. Each equipment here is valuable in some way and are solid options in a decent amount of armies. The Noble Iron often excels with the Angry Jelly as it turns your prince basically into a flying royal champion, which is a solid option for the back end of the base. The Metal Pants, on the other hand, offer more consistent and often greater survivability than the Henchman Puppets, with a damage reduction shield allowing him to be used more comfortably alone, especially with the Angry Jelly. Moving up to the A tier, we have the Meteor Staff. Having the ability to do damage on defenses without needing to attack them is very strong and is often something the Prince will be doing, whether it's flying between buildings, attacking non-defensive buildings, or fighting enemy troops, heroes, and guardians. This overall gives a lot of value for air attacks and supplements the Prince's own damage as well. And within the S tier, we see the Dark Orb, by far his best equipment option due to its slow on defenses and defensive units. This wide slow allows you to support your troops as they push into a heavy area of damage, such as a ranged spell tower compartment. This shuts down these defenses and allows the Prince and your other troops to deal with them before the slow expires. You can also use this to trigger invisibility spell towers while slowing down its recharge time. So here's how the Minion Prince's equipment rank from worst to best. As for the Royal Champion, we'll first look at her Royal Gem and Hog Puppets in the F tier. These two are just bad equipment to use as there isn't a situation where they perform better than her other equipment in this ranking. Over in the C tier, we have our Seeking Shield and Haste File. Both of these are fairly niche equipment that can be very strong in different specific situations and with specific equipment. The Seeking Shield often sees its best use with the Rocket Spear to either one-tap lower tier defenses or weaken defenses significantly to allow the Rocket Spear to clear them with less spears. As for the Haste File, it works best in long Royal Champion charges, allowing her to attack faster as she moves between defenses. As for the B tier, we have her Frostflake. While not a bad equipment, its uses are slightly more limited as it is a support equipment. That said, it can do quite well in the off chance the self-heal of the Electro Boots or the Rocket Spear aren't needed in your attack. This offers a nice freeze over multiple defenses, which can help keep the army alive for a little bit longer at the cost of losing some damage. Up in the A tier, we have her Rocket Spear, a very flexible and strong all-around equipment that the Royal Champion can use in most situations, whether it is with the Seeking Shield to get more value or the Electro Boots to offer support and damage. It's one of her strongest options as this can be used anywhere and get some sort of value, and within the S tier is her Electro Boots. Unless you're using her as a back-end support in Fireball Rocket Loon armies, the Electro Boots are her premier option in nearly every army you run. Its passive damage makes it essential for Royal Champion charges or supporting troops inside the base from skeleton traps, while its self-healing is a fairly important thing to keep the Royal Champion from dying super early. It also pairs extremely well with the Rocket Spear or Frostflake depending on the needs of your army. But here's how the Royal Champion's equipment rank from worst to best. And finally, we have the Archer Queen, where her Archer Puppets and Invisibility Vial are in the F tier. Both equipment are just not great to use at all, with other equipment offering better utility and damage. Within the C tier, we have her Frozen Arrow. It has fallen off over the course of time, but for players still willing to use Queen charges, its slow on defenses is very powerful to have and is often recommended. Otherwise, it is a fairly niche equipment with no redeeming qualities in other strategies. As for the B tier, we see her Healer Puppets. These are solid options for survivability for the Queen, as they offer enough healing from the healers so long as they are above level 15. This mainly can pair very well with equipment like the Magic Mirror and Giant Arrow if used on the outside of the base, as this is the best way for the Healer Puppets to get value without being removed by traps. Up in the A tier, we have the Magic Mirror and Giant Arrow. Both equipment excel in different situations, but also work when funneling. The Giant Arrow is great for sniping air defenses and sweepers, but can also be used with Zapquake or even activate Invis Towers. The Magic Mirror is also solid in funneling with its 2 additional queens for bigger damage, but also can be used inside the base to do insane damage with your troops. Additionally, both equipment work very well with a heavy tank in front, such as the Giant from the action figure. Speaking of which, the action figure is remaining within the S tier. This is by far the best equipment for the Archer Queen, and it's not even close. It gives you a beefy tank that has over 18,000 HP while doing serious damage, allowing her to pair the Giant Arrow to keep herself protected as she's funneling outside buildings, or pair with the Magic Mirror to protect all 3 queens as they do big damage inside or outside of the base. So here is how the Archer Queen's equipment rank from worst to best. With that said, here is the tier list for every hero, so you know which equipment you should prioritize your ores into and start using, and the ones you can safely avoid upgrading and using for now. If you want the best attack strategies for the new Dragon Duke, I recommend checking out this video right here, but YouTube says you'll prefer this one instead.